Welcome back to Main Street, the Craig L. Hayes Show. Hey, welcome back, America, family, friends, listeners all around this planet we call home. This is episode number 3 with Wendell Snow here from Las Vegas at the Palora Chapel in the Paradise Steak building. And we're going to continue talking. What is the date again?
14th.
The 14th.
Of January.
It just seemed like it was the 13th.
Yeah.
I guess it was. So the 14th of January, 2026, we're going to continue on with this, on this new, practically almost brand new podcast that I've just started. So let's continue on. What have you been doing? What little things have you been involved in the last, 20 years or so?
Yeah, so a number of things. I did did scouting for a while. In fact, I ended up going out to Philmont to get certified as a Cub Scout day camp director, and so I actually ran for 5 years our stake, our church organization's Cub day camp, and it was a lot of fun. It would be a 2-day thing where over the summer, and we would have a climbing wall, archery, BB gun shooting. And a bunch of little activities for all the Cub Scouts, and it was a challenge, but it was a really good challenge. And going out to Philmont was great. That was that's the the mecca for scouting in America anyway. I go to Camp Philmont in New Mexico, and beautiful property, just an incredible property, and had some really good training, and was good preparation to be the Cub day camp director, and did that for 5 years, and pretty rewarding, honestly. Just fun to watch, young boys experience some great activities, things that they wouldn't have ready access to at all, because not too many people have BB guns or archery or climbing walls.
No, not in their backyard. No.
Yeah, and we would we'd call it a bike rodeo. Some of the boys already knew how to ride bikes, but quite a few of them had never ridden a bike, and so we would teach them how to ride a bike and get through an obstacle course, teach them bike safety. We'd have one of the local fire stations come out and show touch a truck kind of a thing, where the boys could actually step inside, and some of the firefighters would actually plug up to the hydrant and let the boys hold the hose and as much as they could.
Yeah, watch them all get knocked down by it. And
Yeah, good fun stuff.
that's the good stuff right there.
Yeah, and I know some elementary schools do a good job of trying to do that kind of stuff as well, but it's just amazing to me how many boys had never had that kind of experience, and I think it's key for the youth to have some of these experiences, especially the Cub Scout age, which was like, I think it was 8 to 11 as Cub Scouting. Yeah, 8 to 11. Sorry, I was kind of a brain fart there, but so that was good fun. And then raising 4 kids of my own, both my boys, I helped them through Cub Scouting and into Boy Scouting. Both of them got their Eagle Scout, and which I'm proud of, that they were able to do it before all things went sideways. But so let's see what else. The whole time appraising. What else? Oh, served as a bishop for about 6 years in a local congregation. That was quite an experience.
Yeah, so explain to people just who listen what a bishop means in what this is. Who's the bishop in that?
Sure. So we have numerous congregations worldwide, and actually numerous congregations here in Las Vegas. Our particular congregation covers an area in the Paradise Township, and I'm not sure. It's probably about 2 or 3 miles across, maybe 3-4 miles across, and about 1 or 2 miles high, or north and south. And so for each congregation, you have a leadership, obviously, and so the primary leader is called the bishop. He has 2 counselors to serve with him, and then there are numerous other individuals who help fill out the leadership ranks to help keep the congregation organized. And but the bishop has some very key responsibilities as mandated by church policy. Responsible ultimately for the finances of the congregation. Responsible for has a primary focus on the youth, which is the young men, young women that are aged 12 to 18. Has a responsibility for maintaining the building, the property, and has a responsibility to oversee the specific young men's organization. The bishop serves as the president of the Aaronic priesthood, and then so basically is the primary leader for the congregation. So it's a voluntary. We have a lay ministry, or in other words, nobody's paid in our congregations, and so it was it was a pretty hefty service for the 6-year period, and but very rewarding in so many ways. Just watching people's lives improve. I love. We had a president for our church, Gordon B. Hinckley, who would always say, or he would say, and I always held on to it, was that the church makes bad men good and good men better. And I witnessed that constantly, and I thought that was amazing. Great experience.
Yeah, it's not a it's not a job that anybody would want to go and strive to do.
No,
It's
you don't campaign
so
for it.
consuming. Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with people's lives and trying to help them through very difficult times and sometimes very great times. But yeah, what a calling. I mean, it's something I would never want to do, just because I just know what it involves and how oof,
Yep.
you're dealing with people's lives on everything from morality to literally, deaths in the family to, you're trying to give them comfort. And I mean, good stuff, but also a lot of hard stuff too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and yeah, like you say, and trying to fix their lives and help them to bring their lives around and would not be easy. Those are tough things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Good experience overall, though. As I reflect on it, I'm glad I had the opportunity.
What was your favorite things to do as bishop? I mean, there's always stuff you really enjoyed doing as a bishop, or any calling,
Right.
that you're asked to do, and then some of the stuff that's the hardest. And we do both. Let's do the pro and con
Yep.
stuff.
The good and the bad
Yeah.
and the ugly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some of that stuff. Not specific on anybody, but
Right. Right. No, of course.
some of the
I
stuff.
won't choose names and.
But if I was going to,
Yeah, so honestly, some of the most rewarding stuff was just being able to work with the children and the youth, and because there's just something so wonderfully pure and innocent. Especially, you can see it in their eyes. When they're happy, and when they're experiencing things that make them happy and truly happy, and then just watching people rise out of difficulty and rise up on the other side versus falling down on the other side, and that's rewarding, very rewarding to watch people's lives improve. And it's not like I really, you're not pre-qualified to be a bishop as far as like having professional certifications and things like that. You're not a certified marriage and marriage counselor or marriage and family counselor, and although there probably has been bishops who have had qualifications like that, but more than anything, as a spiritual leader, you're supposed to be able to help people use the Spirit and Heavenly Father and the gospel to improve their lives, and so you just sort of hand over the tools to help them to do that.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm not really, you're not fixing people, or you probably shouldn't. You should let the Lord do that. And so you just kind of help people get on the path and go that way. So worse stuff, I don't know. It was frustrating to see people who were obviously interested in I want to say fraud, although that's pretty harsh. I mean, that's a legal term, really, but there were people who literally were only in it to, coming to church and or seeking assistance, but really dishonesty was in their hearts for sure, and that was the hardest part was trying to help people who weren't interested in being helped really,
Just
and
wanted some handouts and
yeah, and to be dishonest about it, that really that bummed me out more than anything, because there were some people who came and were asking for assistance, and they had these incredible sad stories, only to find out that a week ago they were at another bishop's office doing the exact same thing, and basically just trying to amass money, and people going as far as producing fraudulent documents and misrepresenting themselves, and that was frustrating to deal with.
yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things of, I think people hold up LDS people up to a higher standard a little bit, but it's still just people with all the flaws and faults and sins that anybody else can commit in any other congregation or any other religion, and we try to help them, like ministers of other religions try to fix in other people too. I mean, it's just that's the calling,
Right.
That's just yeah. It's the calls at 2 or 3 in the morning and asking for help on something, and oof,
Yep.
and the calls, sometimes you get the early morning calls and someone has passed away and under tragic circumstances, and that you're going to have to be dealing with comforting some family that just
Right.
lost their father or husband, whatever it was. Man, yeah, hard stuff to deal with.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I admire you for doing it. It's just wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something that I suggest everybody do, other than there's so much you can learn in that experience, in those experiences, and so much appreciation that you can develop for your own, you're like, okay, my life's not so wild and crazy, or just learning to be a lot more empathetic to everybody around you because of just the experiences that you come up against, and so.
Yeah, that would be the positive and the benefit on something like that.
Right.
But yeah. No, and I'm not saying that anything like that, the bad stuff or anything like that, is a reason not to participate in it. It's just, it's heartbreaking.
Right.
Some of that stuff is just heartbreaking. Seeing some stuff because I'm old enough to have watched plenty in the world that's gone on and know what bishops have to deal with, and
Right.
it's like it would be just heartbreaking dealing with all these things. And I'm in a different position in Scouts, and I watched 2 of my Scouts die.
Right.
Not at my hands. I didn't do it. I thought about it a couple of times with some of those kids.
There's a few.
There's a few that were like, "Oh, you ain't coming back from this camp out, kid."
Right.
But no, when you're under just horrible circumstances and stuff, and that is just a blow to the system on
Right.
stuff. And
Yep.
people always think I'm this hardcore guy, but inside it's like, wow, it punches you in the gut.
Yep. Yep.
And,
For sure.
but the growth that you get out of it, like you're talking about, man, that's growth. That's growth in massive amounts, real quick. And I admire you for it. I admire any bishop that does that stuff. It's just.
Yeah, I mean, I think about some of the prior bishops. There's a Carrie Murback who served for nearly 8 years as the bishop, and I towards the end of the 5th year, I was like, okay, I've had enough. I think I'm full up on experience here.
Yeah.
But
Because it's supposed to be a 5-year calling.
well, there's actually nothing that says it is 5 years only.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I always understood it to be 5 years, so it's just
No.
it's not written in stone anywhere. It's been a tradition of 5
It's
years.
become kind of a norm, and same thing applies for stake president. It's not a 10-year deal. It's not in the handbook anywhere. But that's typically how long they end up serving for, is 10 years as stake president, and which is a long haul too. Boy.
That's not easy either.
No.
And how many bishops, get released and they finally get to sit with their family again after 5 years down
Right.
in the congregation, and they get called to be a stake president.
Right.
And they're often running some, they don't,
Yeah.
so they'll go 15 years not sitting with their family at church and stuff,
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
and it's hard on the family too, hard on the
Yeah.
wife and kid. It's not easy. It's not a calling to just the father, the husband, whatever has to deal with. It's the whole family who deals with it.
Right. Right. It's definitely a
at
labor
different
of
levels.
love, a sacrifice, and a labor of love for sure.
But I can imagine that your kids look at what your service and and I haven't seen them in so long now, but I would imagine that they give themselves in service just like you have done because they saw that example set by you, and they're
I would like to think so. My oldest son Everett's currently serving as the Elders Quorum president in the YSA ward, the Heritage Young Single Adult Ward.
where's that at?
It actually meets at UNLV. It's no longer the university ward, where any young university students or young married university students could attend. It's now just a young single adult ward,
Okay.
and it meets at the Institute building on campus. And so 18 to 36 is the age group, and it's mostly 20-year-olds in the congregation there. But yeah, it's a good group of kids.
But that's a lot of call too.
Yeah, Elders Quorum
Elder
president.
Quorum is, man, that's a lot of work to do that one too. There's
Yep.
just
Yep. And then my son Chaz and my daughter Sierra are serving as ward missionaries, so they help out with the missionaries. And then my youngest, McKinley, she is a chorister. She leads the music during the sacrament meetings. So,
Huh.
Yep. Somebody's got to do it.
Well, let's get them all involved. Get them busy doing something in church.
Yep.
Get busy doing something good.
That's right. Serve.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Do something good. It's just not a song. Do something good in the world today.
That's right.
Do something good for somebody. It's not a Boy Scout motto. Just do a good turn daily thing.
Yep.
Wow, I remember that.
That's right.
All these years out of it, it's embedded in the brain.
Yep.
So what are you doing now? What's up? I know. I tell people up in Utah the story of my old ward. I go, it's in the middle of Las Vegas, where it's heavy Hispanic and stuff like that. And I go, and there's two parts of the ward. There's the English speaking, and I go, and guess what the other part of the ward is? And of course, everyone says Spanish.
Right.
It's not. What is it?
Yeah, so we actually have what we call the African Languages Group. So it's kind of like a little subgroup within our ward congregation, and a lot of them are, well, all of them are from areas in Africa, and the primary language is Swahili, but there's a few of them who also speak Kinyarwanda, and then a few of them who speak Kibembe, and then also French. There's a few of them who can speak, French and one of the other languages.
Okay. But Swahili is the main one, right?
Swahili is the main language. So.
I tell people that. I go, yeah, the main language in that ward there is, besides English, is Swahili.
Yep.
And you get that stunned look of silence for just a second, like, say what?
Yep. Yep.
In Las Vegas, in a predominantly Hispanic area, it's Swahili. Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome to Vegas, man.
Yeah, that came about because the federal government, for a period of time, was bringing a lot of refugees into. There was a couple of different apartment complexes that fall within the boundaries of our congregation, and they were putting a lot of these refugees into these apartment complexes as part of a refugee program. And a lot of them actually very faithful people, and a lot of them were looking for church, and so our missionaries came across several of the families, and so we ended up with this little contingency of mostly the kids. They learn English pretty quickly, but a lot of the parents, only one or two out of our group of like 40 or so total. Can speak English as well, and so we found a way to to have the little group. They have their own little sacrament meeting. The whole meeting is conducted in Swahili. Our church actually produces, and we have Swahili hymn books, and so all of the fairly standard church songs are in Swahili. And the church also has quite a bit of literature, including the Book of Mormon, which is Kitabu cha Mormoni in Swahili, and then the Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price, and a lot of the other literature is available in Swahili. And you can even go onto the church website, change the language, and poof, it all comes up in Swahili. And so, yeah, the church is on top of having that. Kinyarwanda, there's a little bit of church literature, and nothing in Kibembe. But thankfully, the people who speak Kibembe can also speak Swahili. And so,
Yeah, the church can't have every single language. I mean, they can if they put more time into it, but no one realizes how much time it takes to translate everything into all these sub languages and stuff. And it's like,
yeah,
I can't imagine doing just for basically, we'll just call it 100 languages,
right,
and not including the sub languages,
right,
which can go to a couple 300,
right,
or 400, whatever. It's like, wow, no,
yep. Yeah, and you get dialects of certain languages too, and Kibembe is I can't remember what the history of Kibembe is, but it's basically there's elements of Swahili in Kibembe, but not a lot, and so it's a small language. Not a lot of not a huge group of people actually speak Kibembe, but this family that was their first language, but Swahili is their second language, and actually now the kids are really good with English. And the dad's getting better with English. He's amazing, sharp dude.
And so you're kind of like the leader over that, right?
Well, I'm not. The one dad that I just mentioned, his name is Munga Sangura. He is our group leader.
Okay.
But I serve. I'm on the stake high council, and a high councilman is assigned to each ward. And they decided to assign me to the group since I'd already been working with the group when I was serving as bishop. And so as a high councilman, I'm assigned to the group, but I'm not a leader. I actually don't have any ecclesiastical keys to.
So what is it you do? You're just help and guide them a little bit?
Yeah.
Letting them, I mean, the big thing of church is you let them do themselves, but they need some guidance, obviously, because they're all fairly new at this stuff. So,
exactly.
So you offer like the guidance is what you're doing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, coming with my experience having served as bishop.
You're like the instructor of protocols and all that other stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Help them keep it organized. The group functions under the ecclesiastical keys of the bishop. Our current bishop is Aaron Diaz. And so he has the keys over the whole congregation and group, and so we do everything under his direction. But I'm just sort of here as a in-person individual in the group to help guide them and make sure everything is going well and stuff.
As a set of eyes for the bishop and the stake presidency. Okay,
right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good way of going about it, though.
Right.
Yeah, when you say Bishop Diaz, it's just I just go, wow. He was one of my scouts way back in the Never Never.
That's right.
And now he's the bishop of the ward. He's what, 32 or somewhere.
Yeah, he's a young bishop.
He's a real young bishop because usually
I think he's only just 30. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought he was Wesley's age. And Wesley's
maybe
32.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I give up on this stuff. 33.
Young guy.
Wesley's 33. I don't know how old Wesley is.
Right.
He's been around a while. There we go.
Right.
Solved that problem. Yeah. It's interesting to see these kids that come up and you hear that they're bishop here and they're doing this, and it's like, man, it's so cool. You guys are just keeping strong and doing the thing.
Yep.
It's just Well, one thing I can say about it is I just miss that there's not a scouting program in the church anymore.
Yeah. I think I
totally understand and agree with the reasons why. But
right.
It's just, man, all the good stuff that can be done there. And oh, well.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I'm just guessing, but I think that they might be working on a program coming down the pike because they recently reorganized the General Young Men's organization, and I think we're going to have a good program coming down because there's actually a really popular YouTuber named Luke Nichols who has Outdoor Boys, which was a huge success. And he just got called to the General Young Men's presidency or the organization. And that he's like a camping boss, man. He's a camping aficionado, and so it'd be interesting to see what the input's going to be from that and the other people that got called. So.
Well, Wendell, that brings us to the end of episode 3. I think we got enough for a few minutes in episode 4. We can talk a little bit about it. I want to go back in time a little bit when we do come back and maybe talk a little bit about what you foresee as coming up in the future from Las Vegas and the ward, et cetera, et cetera. So if you don't mind sticking around for a few more minutes, we'll do another, maybe a shorter episode on the next one and just touch on a couple of things and go from there.
All right.
Until then, thank you for listening to Main Street, the Craig L. Hayes Show.